Hey Run Junkies, at some point along our running journey, we might consider traveling to a race. Whether it's Run Disney, a major marathon, or you're just visiting friends and family and you want to get in a race, we have a few extra things to consider when embarking on a racecation. Leaving the comforts of home behind means that we need to look ahead at what we'll need during our race. So let's take a look at how to prepare for your out-of-town race. Now, going on a racecation means it's unlikely that you have actually run on that course and in that area before. And if you are visiting that area for the first time or have never actually run in that area, this might actually be the scariest part. There are a lot of unknowns here. Are there hills? Is it flat? Is it paved? Is it crushed gravel? Is it open road or single track? We want the answers to a lot of these questions because we want to know if we're actually training properly or if we need to alter our training at all. My first suggestion would be to look at the course map. Most online registrations will have a course map and elevation profile for you to take a look at. The official website for that race may also have a few social media links so you can get in there and ask about how the course is laid out and what things to consider from people who've actually run the race before. Get involved in those social media conversations and ask any questions you may have. Tell them, hey, I'm coming from out of town, I don't know what to expect, and people will be honest and let you know exactly what you're in for, or at least a close approximation. Course elevation maps can be deceiving though, so my favorite resource is mapmyrun.com. Look up the race in which you're running and you may see a course elevation profile, especially if that race has been around for a few years. Hopefully you are doing this several weeks out from your race, gathering all of this data. Once you figure out the terrain, you can decide how to change your training up if you need to do that at all. There are a couple of things that we can't control when we go on a racecation. It's basically the same as anywhere else. One thing is elevation. If you are going up in elevation by, I would personally say, more than 2,000 feet, that is going to affect your physiology when you get to your location. I would strongly encourage you to get to that destination a few days ahead of time so your body has time to acclimatize to that elevation change. There is nothing worse than having that elevation change affect your race day. The other thing we can't control is weather. You can look up the historical data for that area and that weather, but if Mother Nature decides to throw you a curveball, there's nothing we can do about it, so plan for anything. Which brings us to packing. Check out the card right here. This is Joyful Miles' video channel, and I've left a link in the description below as well. My friend Laura talks about how she packed for her Run Disney Princess half marathon weekend. This video might help you think of things that you might not necessarily have thought of when planning for a racecation. Laura covers all of it. When I'm packing for a racecation, I like to think of it this way. If I need it here, then I'm gonna want it there. Take notes of everything you use, not only during your runs and how you run, but also what you do beforehand and what you do post-run. Also, anything that you do have on your long run, gels, gummies, any kind of nutrition that you use to fuel that run, make sure you're bringing that along with you. Whatever you bring, I would suggest you bring twice as much as you think you need. Bring your A outfit, that outfit that you've already planned on wearing. But like I said, if Mother Nature throws you a curveball, have a backup plan. Not just a cold weather option, but a rain option and a hot weather option. That can basically be your basic run kit with a couple of layers added or subtracted. Either way, make sure you have your option. Bring your recovery tools if possible. Foam rollers can be bulky, but I find they are completely worth it. You can find smaller therapy tools like a lacrosse ball or a stick. You can throw those very easily in a suitcase, but I like to bring my foam roller. It's just one of those things that makes me feel secure and safe. It can be argued you don't need to bring water with you, and that's perfectly fine if you don't want to. I personally like to have at least one small water bottle on my person for a race so I have water when I need it. For larger races, you may be required to pick up your packet and bib the day before the race. And if that's the case, plan your travel around that information. Get to the expo on that day before. Now, if there is a race expo, these are really fun to wander around and do some shopping, but I would strongly encourage you to not allow too much time for that for two major reasons. The first reason is that it wreaks havoc on your wallet. If you're not careful and you don't go in there with a budget, you can walk out of an expo with your luggage a lot heavier and your wallet a lot lighter. Go into the expo with a plan. If there is something you definitely want to see, then check out that particular booth. Because the other reason that's important is it also wreaks havoc on your legs. Many of these race expos are in convention centers and the floors are hard poured concrete. It's really hard on your legs. You do not want to fatigue yourself the night before your race. Get your packet, wander around for a little bit, and then get out, go back to the hotel and rest. Speaking of the night before, stay home, stay in the hotel, find a really good Netflix show and binge watch it, or even a bad Netflix show and watch it. Whether you're sitting in bed, in a chair, or on your foam roller, take the time to relax and chill. Now, if you are staying in a hotel, you may not have access to the food that you need when you need it. So bring it with you until you get to a convenience store or grocery store in your destination. Having quick snacks on hand and healthy snacks will help keep you from just going out and eating all of the things. If your race starts early, like before restaurants open, go get something the night before so you have it and you're not scrambling the morning of the race. Speaking of food, it's fun to go out and try new restaurants when you're in a new area, but I would strongly suggest that you stick to what got you here. You fueled yourself so efficiently during your training. Try not to mix it up too much. If there is a particular restaurant that you want to try in that area or a particular dish, save that for the victory celebration after your race. Up until race, eat well and healthy so you're fueling properly. Getting around sometimes can be a challenge, so if you are new to that area and don't quite know how to get around, go back to the race's website. They might have some getting there information, where to park, how much it costs, and so on. Some roads may be closed, so you'll see some of that information as well. If you have a support crew coming with you, like friends or family, have them drop you off as close to race start as possible and then go park the car. And then plan on taking them to lunch after the race because they are making your day awesome. I personally like having a minimum of 1 hour at the race start just to get my bearings, to use the porta potty twice, to go through gear check or whatever else I need to do. Just get my head in the game. Once you're at your race, enjoy it. Look at the scenery. Enjoy your time in this race. Pose for pictures, all that great stuff. Cross that finish line, get pictures taken with the medal. Racecations are fun if you plan for them properly. Obviously, there's so much more to the racecation, and if you are planning for a Run Disney racecation, that's a completely different animal, and I am going to talk about that in a future video. So first, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss that. Also, head over to GoFindYourAwesome.com where I have a list of all of the things that I pack for a racecation. My question for you today is this: have you ever done a racecation? And if so, how did it go for you? Did you enjoy it? Is it something that you like to do? Just travel to go to a race? Please leave thoughts, questions, comments, and suggestions in the box below. And as always, give me that thumbs up if you like this video. Thanks so much for watching. Get out there, go find your awesome. We'll see you next time. And until then, happy running.